Here we will see arguments to function in Python. A function can have any number of arguments separated by comma. The term parameter and argument is used to pass information to the function. Parameter is the variable listed inside the parenthesis in the function definition, whereas argument is a value sent to the function when it is called. It is a data on which function performs some action and returns the result. There are various ways to use arguments in a Python function. First is default argument, then keyword argument, then positional argument and arbitrary arguments, which are also known as variable length arguments. First we will see default arguments. Default arguments are values that are provided while defining a function. The assignment operator equal to is used to assign a default value to the argument. Default arguments become optional during the function calls. If we provide a value to the default arguments during function call, it overrides the default value. The function can have any number of default arguments. Here we will see the example for default argument. Here function student is defined with default arguments name as xyz and age as 21, and inside the function we will print the student details as name and age. And when we call the function student with default argument, it will give the output as student details xyz and 21. These are the values that we have passed as a default argument. And when we call the function with new values as abc and 18, it will give the output as student detail abc and 18. New values override the default values given to the function. Next is keyword argument. Usually at the time of function call, values get assigned to the arguments according to their position. So we must pass values in the same sequence defined in a function definition. We can alter this behavior using keyword arguments. Keyword arguments are those arguments where values get assigned to the arguments by their keyword, that is name, when the function is called. It is preceded by the variable name and an assignment operator. The keyword argument is also called as a named argument. With keyword argument, you can change the sequence of keyword using their name in function calls. For example, here function student is defined with parameters name and age, and inside the function we will print the student details as name and age. And when we call the function student with passing value name as abc and age as 21, it will give the output abc 21. Then again we call the function with age equal to 18 and name equal to abc. It will give the same output as student details name and age. First it will print the name and second it will print the age, although we have passed the values as age and name. Next is positional argument. Positional arguments are arguments that need to be included in the proper position or order. In positional argument, number and position of arguments must be matched. If we change the order, then the result may change. Also, if we change the number of arguments, we will get an error. By default, Python functions are called using positional argument. Here is an example. Here function add is defined with parameters a and b, and inside the function will print a minus b. So when we call the function add with parameters 10 and 6, it will give the output 4. And when we call the function with parameters 6 and 10, it will give the output minus 4. Next is arbitrary arguments. These arguments also known as variable length arguments. If we don't know the number of arguments needed for the function in advance, we can use arbitrary arguments. There are two types of arbitrary arguments. First is arbitrary positional arguments and second is arbitrary keyword arguments. First we will see arbitrary positional arguments. We can declare a variable length argument with asterisk symbol. Place an asterisk before a parameter in the function definition to define an arbitrary positional argument. We can pass multiple arguments to the function. Internally, all these values are represented in the form of tuple. Before the variable number of arguments, 0 or more normal arguments may occur. For example, here function add is defined with argument b. Inside the function, result variable is defined which is initialized with 0, and for I in b, we will calculate result as result equal to result plus I, and then we will return the result. So when we call the function add with 4 and 5, it will give the output 9. And when we call the function add with parameters 3, 5, 2, 2, it will give the output 12. In first function call it will add 4 and 5, and in second function call it will add 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 2. Next is arbitrary keyword argument. For arbitrary keyword argument, a double asterisk, that is unpacking operator, is placed before a parameter in a function which can hold keyword variable length argument. The keyword arguments allows user to pass multiple keyword argument to a function. You can use the keyword arguments if you want to handle named arguments in a function. Keyword arguments are passed to a KW arguments are the accessed using key value pair, same as accessing dictionary in a Python. For example, here function percentage is defined with keyword arguments. Then inside the function some variable is defined which is initialized with 0, and for loop is used for sub in keyword arguments. Name, marks are assigned and name and marks are printed. So when we call the function percentage with parameters math equal to 56, English equal to 61 and science equal to 73, it will print the output as math equal to 56, English equal to 61 and science equal to 73.